Hello guys, welcome back. Now there was a big trade happened this morning, and of course, I want to talk about it. Boston acquires Rick Nash from the New York Rangers. Rick Nash going to Boston. He's going to look good there. Now on to the full details. Rick Nash, he has 50% retained on his salary now. I think he's an expiring deal, so it doesn't really matter there, but their cap for the Boston, their cap space is a lot better than if they took that $7 million contract, so that's good for them. At 50%, they can make some more deals at the deadline if they want to. Rick Nash is an expiring deal, though, so if they don't really make any other moves, it really doesn't affect things too much. He has 28 points, so he's having a good season, of course. And he's not all offense. I've heard people say that. He's not an all-offense guy, even though he has a great shot and is good offensively. He is very solid defensively, and he has shaped his career a lot more to the all-around play than he has in, let's say, a couple of years ago. He's a lot more an all-around player, which is very good for Boston because they kind of need a guy that can play both offense and defense in that bottom six. I say top six, he'll get top 6 minutes, but just barely. I think he'll be in that middle range. And going back to New York from Boston, you got a 2018 first-round pick, which will probably be a bottom 10 pick. You got a 2019 7th-round pick, which may become something. I mean, the Rangers have drafted good in the 7th round before. And then got Matt Valesky, who has 50% retained. His contract is just abysmal. He's played 14 games, has 0 points. 0 points on the season, which is just abysmal. He has been injured, and he hasn't gotten the playing time he needed. But in 14 games, you don't even have a point. That's not an NHL player. That's not good at all. The Rangers had to get something back from this deal to get the salary cap good for the Boston Bruins, and sadly they have to take Valesky, who has a pretty abysmal contract. Then you got Ryan Spooner with 25 points on the season. He's actually having a great season. He's getting a lot of assists, and he's actually playing very well for them. Then you got Ryan Lindgren. He has the rights to them. He's a decent prospect. He might become something. Again, he might not, but the Rangers are a good development team. They do seem to crank out these prospects, and they are very good at that development stage. So I think that he definitely can become something if he's treated right and if he's good enough to play in the NHL. Who knows what can happen? He can become anything. And of course, the first-round pick going back to New York, that can become a great player. You know, this draft is supposedly a fantastically deep draft, and who knows if the Rangers can get somebody in that bottom 10. That's maybe like a Matthew Barzal or Brock Besser from 2015, who's in the bottom 10, but still becomes a very great player. The Rangers can definitely do that, and if they draft the right guy, who knows what can really happen. And for the Bruins, although you're giving a lot of your future away for probably a rental player, Rick Nash is probably going to help him a lot. And the thing is, you got Ryan Spooner there, who's 3 points behind Rick Nash, but I'd say that Rick Nash is more of a guy that's a good all-around guy that can really help you into the playoffs. When Ryan Spooner, I would think will dry up a little bit. When Rick Nash will really excel, in that grindy first round and that grindy second round, he'll help you in those rounds and in the playoffs, and I think that's the biggest asset for him. He has the playoff experience as a great, just a great factor for Rick Nash, that a guy, like, even if Ryan Spooner is 3 points behind him, Ryan Spooner won't quite have. Now, at the time, I was rolling down this list of what New York was requiring and what Boston was giving up, and I was looking down, and it was a pretty steep price until I saw that Matt Valesky was getting traded away. Even at 50% retained, that's a huge salary to get off the books for the Boston Bruins. He has a big contract, and really, if you can get that contract off the books, and they did, it's really going to help them. I think that really contract getting off that books is really going to help them, getting that roster spot out, and also getting that contract, who is just basically dead weight at this point, who can't really play. Valesky, 14 games played and 0 points. That's a huge thing for Boston, and I don't know how New York is really going to handle him, how he's going to play, if he's going to play in the AHL and NHL. But for the way things were looking, I don't think Matt Valesky deserves an NHL spot. But whatever the New York Rangers want, I mean, maybe he turns into a 10-goal scorer or something like that. But really, Matt Valesky is a huge contract for the Boston Bruins to ship out. Yes, it is a bit steep, just trading away your first-round pick, trading out Spooner and trading out Ryan Lindgren. It is steep. It is steep, though. But I think getting Matt Valesky will help them so much, so immensely for right now, that I think it is a little bit worth it. I'd say getting Rick Nash and getting out Valesky and getting out that contract is going to help them immensely right now, and I think they can make a great run in the next couple of years. And as a Stars fan who desperately didn't want Rick Nash on the Dallas Stars, it's not that I didn't like the guy. I do like his play, and I do like how he plays on the ice, but I just did not like the asking price. looking at it right now, I just did like looking at the trades and the things that Boston had to give up. I don't know what I would have. I don't know what I would have handled myself if the Stars gave up their first round pick, gave up a guy like Ryan Spooner. Maybe that would have been Radek Faksa. I would have hated that if Radek Faksa was a Boston Bruin. They would have to give up a lot of things, and what Boston had to give up, I don't think I would have liked that at all as a Stars fan, so I'm glad that we didn't get him. I would have liked Grabner a lot more, but I'm so glad, looking at the asking price and what New York got ahead for the Bruins, I'm so glad the Stars didn't get him. I'm immensely grateful. Thank you. Now, if I had to give a winner, I'd say, you know, it is complicated because New York, whatever they do with these picks is so crucial to who actually wins this trade. If that first round pick is a bust, then it doesn't really matter. Ryan Spooner will be a good player for them going into the future. I think that is a good acquisition for them. Valesky is basically dead weight, and who knows what Ryan Lindgren becomes, but it definitely handles a lot on what that first round pick becomes. If it doesn't, then we'll see from there. Then Rick Nash is probably a good player. But if Boston wins the Cup, I don't think there's any reason to say that Boston didn't win this trade. If Boston wins the Cup, it's an automatic win for them because who cares? They won the Cup. So I think that Rick Nash will definitely help them in the playoffs a lot, so that I think they'll get far into the playoffs. I think it'll definitely be worth it for them, and I think that both teams can come out, especially saying that they won this trade because both teams are getting what they want, and I think that Boston is getting, I guess, handled a little bit. It is a steep asking price, but if they go far in the playoffs, I don't think it quite matters. But that's going to be, guys. Like and subscribe and not ring that bell if you haven't. Tell me down below what is your opinions on the trade. Who won this trade, New York or Boston? And I'll see you guys later. Goodbye.